Well, we got Jackson with us this week. I'm super excited to let him share. Jackson's one of our high school students here, and so he's got something just to encourage us with this week. Before you jump in, Jackson, one thing I've just been asking everyone to share just so we continue to get to know each other a little better. Tell me, how long has your family been a part of Lex City Church? And then also just tell us some fun thing about you.
Hey, yeah. So my family, I believe, has been at our church for 18 years, which is longer than I've been alive. So pretty much my entire life. And one thing a lot of people actually do know about me is I play football. So, yeah.
What position?
I play receiver and linebacker.
All right. If you had to pick one, like right now, you were going to go pro in this position, would you rather do wide receiver or linebacker?
I'd probably pick a different position, actually. I'd probably pick safety.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm excited to kind of just let you share tonight. I think one of the fun thing about this Youth Online is just getting some of you guys a chance just to share kind of what God is speaking to you guys in this time. And so I'll hand it over to you, Jackson, to share whatever you have for us tonight.
All right. Thank you. So one thing I've kind of heard from God through my last few days of quiet time is the passage Philippians 4:4-7. It says, "Always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice. Let everyone see that you are considerate in all you do. Remember, the Lord is coming soon. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus." And the reason I'm so drawn to this passage is because of how much it relates to what we're going through right now. I don't know anyone who's not feeling stress or anxiety about the virus or people getting sick, or just like even like schoolwork for me is kind of crazy right now. So, but there is a way to find joy and peace through these tough times. So I have 3 steps for you guys to find peace. The first is look for the positives. So positives I've found in the quarantine is how closer I'm getting to my family. I never really used to eat dinner like every night with my family when everything was back to normal. But now every night I get to sit down with my parents and talk and have fun and get closer to each other. So that's one thing I've been really grateful about. Another thing I've noticed is it's kind of slowing everything down. So I really find this a way, like doing quiet time is easier and just worshiping God. So I think it's helping a lot of people come closer to God. My second point for you all is what Philippians 4:6 says. Don't worry about anything, pray about everything. If you do this, it will really change the way you approach a lot of your problems. Every time you worry about something, just stop, take a breath, and pray, because God's peace is waiting for you. And then my third point for you guys is rejoice in the Lord. This is the easiest step, but you may be wondering what it means to rejoice in the Lord. The literal definition of rejoice is to feel or show great joy or delight. But my interpretation is to find our joy in the Lord and not things of this world. Because in reality, the things of this world aren't giving us joy. It's just giving us short-term happiness, and that eventually leads to anxiety and depression. So what I've got for you guys to close it out is that if you do these 3 things, God will give you his peace. And in Philippians 4:7, it says, his peace exceeds anything we can understand. And you may have a lot of questions about like heaven and why God does the things he does and his plan, but we really don't understand anything right now. All we know is that he has joy and peace waiting for us, and all we have to do is choose it.
Man, that's so good, Jackson. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I think that's super practical for us, and those 3 steps are definitely like 3 easy things we can really focus on right now. I love what you kind of said too about us slowing down a little bit, and like whether we like it or not, things are
Hmm.
slowing down and we have more time on our hands. And so I think a lot of people, some people have used this to like do specific like physical goals, like I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in all this slow free time I have,
Hmm.
or I'm going to, write a book, or I'm gonna do all this stuff, which I think are good. But I think you also made a really good point of like, it's also easier for us to have our quiet times now, and it's easier
Yeah.
for us to like make time to pray. And like, I think it's just as important, like what spiritual goals, so to speak, could we set in this time of like, hey, I have a little more time, I want to get better at this.
Hmm.
For you, as you've been kind of trying to find joy and peace in this time, has there been a specific maybe spiritual discipline you're like, I've actually gotten better at this during this time, or it was a goal of mine to kind of get better at this during this time?
Yeah, I really think for me it's just getting better at listening to God. And that's something like everyone can get better at, no matter what, no matter where you are on your spiritual journey. And I think the more you like pray and listen to God, the easier it becomes. And not not all the time do you hear God's voice. Sometimes it like comes through signs, or just like you hear a word like yes or no, or just the way God shapes your life. And so I think everybody has a different way of listening to God, but I've really just like taken time to pray and yeah, just get better at listening to him.
That's really good. Yeah, I think that's a really great goal to kind of have in this time. And that when we go back to our normal fast-paced life, you're like, I've already like worked on this in this time, and now I'm like better at
Hmm.
it. And I think that's really cool. Kind of just one other question I have for you, kind of just as an application piece for us. I think those are really good steps of like how we can cultivate joy in our life, how we can grow our relationship with God in our life. Have you found
Hmm.
any ways, like how can we spread joy to maybe our friends, or those who maybe, whether they believe what we believe or not, like have you had any success of being like, just how do you share joy with other people or keep other people feeling positive in this time?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is just like while we're social distancing, you still like can connect to people. Like what I've been doing is just FaceTiming my friends or shooting them a text. And I've actually started doing Bible plans with a couple of my friends, which has really helped because you can go on there and comment after each devotional every day. And yeah, it just really helps you get connected and share God's love.
That's awesome. Are you guys using the, like just the Bible app, the YouVersion Bible app for those plans?
Yeah. Yeah, the U version.
Cool. That's such a great idea, I think, to, yeah, get a couple of your friends to do that together and comment. I think that's so cool.
Hmm.
Well, awesome. I think this has
Yeah.
been super helpful, super practical for us. Just as we close, is there anything, if someone wanted to kind of take this one step further, is there a specific verse that you kind of would recommend they look at, or a specific prayer that they should do, or just what's something that maybe we can do this week to kind of just follow up on this idea? And then maybe can you list those 3 steps again for us one more time as we finish out?
So I think the most practical thing to do is every time you're feeling like anxious or stressed, just pray. And that goes along with the second step. Um, but yeah, it's since we're slowed down already, it's not like you'll have distractions or anything. So anytime you just catch yourself thinking and worrying, just pray. And yeah, I'd encourage you guys to go read Philippians 4. It's got some really good stuff. Like a couple of my favorite verses are in this one chapter alone. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then
awesome.
the 3 steps again are: look for the positives, don't worry about anything, pray about everything, and rejoice in the Lord.